Ready?
No.
Come, G.
Right.
So, welcome to Amishu Property Talks. Wait, let me get my drink. Start again. Welcome to Amishu Property Talks. I'm with Ruby. I've been trying to get her to jump on a podcast with me for about 18 months now because I feel like there's a few successes from her journey which I think are inspiration for other people out there. Ruby, 30 seconds, give me a quick intro.
Hi guys, thanks for having me.
Hi guys.
Hello. So I'm Ruby from Ruby Can Property, because if Ruby can, you can. I started in property when I was 20, 20, bought my first house when I was 22, bought my second house at 25, and I'm now 26 and I'm looking to take over the world.
Cool, respect. And listen, so let me just dive into a bit more detail, right? Because there's not many males or females that, one, get into property at that age, or two, have a portfolio, 26, 25, 26,
Yep.
with that mentality to expand.
Yes.
Ruth, how did you get in? Like, what hooked you to property? Why property?
Property hooked me because I want money. I knew I wanted wealth. After uni, I realised I'm not working for someone. I refuse to work for someone. It just doesn't suit me. I want my own business. I want to be like the people in the world who've got money. My uncle has a business, so that was also inspiration as well. I want to be like him. And I just down a rabbit hole and Googled property, and then that changed my life forever. After graduating uni, I went on Google, and then that changed my life.
And what were the first steps you took after, like, so you hit Google, I want to make money from property, whatever it was?
Age 21.
Exactly. So you just finished uni, got no money, but you made it happen. You made it happen.
Yeah, I Googled it, and I got the internet available, right? So I just thought, let me see what is out there. How does somebody with no money even start?
How did you start?
I Googled it. It come up with all these suggestions. There's like networking events. There's people on Instagram that have property investor written in their bio. So I just went down a rabbit hole, networked, messaged people on Instagram. I want to be like you. What do I do? They gave me some golden nuggets. I ran off and went and did it. I begged my parents for a property course. They were like, no, we're not paying for that.
How much was that property course?
Anywhere from $3,000 to upwards, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere. Started, they were like, no, you can't learn about property in 1-2 days. I didn't take no for an answer. I was like, fine, I've got no money, but I'll find a way. There's got to be a way, right? I can use someone else's money. I don't know. And then I just Googled, and people helped me along the way, and I networked a lot.
Pointed at me, but I'll be honest, we didn't know.
You blanked me at this point. No, I'm joking. I didn't know you then.
But so at that point, you didn't have money, right? So that's a prime question for everyone who's trying to get into property. Of I'm trying to save, etc. So what was the first tangible step you took? What was your first move into property? Rent to rent?
I obviously Googled like property. When you do that, there's all these strategies. There's all these words I never knew. Buy to let, HMO, rent to rent, service accommodation, flips.
Yeah. So there's so many different options, which different ones require different capital investment.
Yes, and time required. And I realised back then, am I time rich or cash rich? I'm time rich and cash poor.
I like that.
If that makes sense, right?
That's the CV you're going to use on your Instagram.
Yeah. I read a few books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everyone starts reading all these things. Do a bit of that. And then I just started off with rent to rent, because that's your low barrier entry.
So for those of you who don't know, what is rent to rent?
So
rent is IAA.
Because it's been a hot minute. It's been a hot minute. They're in the background doing their thing. On property in a minute. But the rent is when essentially you rent a property from a landlord. You give them guaranteed rent, in essence. Would they say no? That's their bargain on that side. You either put the property on Airbnb, rent it out again, or you could do HMO and rent it out per room.
But then again, there's also some risks associated to you, because you're guaranteeing that landlord that I'm going to pay you X amount.
And you don't even own the property, it's not yours.
Correct. You're leveraging someone else's capital. You still have to put some funds down, because you have to pay a certain amount up front.
You've got to make it look nice. You have to pay money for sofas, pillows, microwaves, kettles. Like I did Airbnb. That's the route I chose.
How did that turn out?
Turned out well. I was making good money. I was like, whoa, I made it.
So if you're happy to, share some numbers, right? So when you started, because you've just paid a landlord, you just furnished the property.
Yes.
Share whatever you're comfortable with.
So my first deal...
Got $1 million, bro.
I wish one day. So obviously I started in property. I say rent to rent. Initially it was sourcing. That was like this thing that I heard. If you've got, they teach you at these property events, if you've got no money, do deal sourcing, and you can build your capital up that way and buy houses. And I thought, oh, I got sucked in. I thought, all right, we do that, right? Deal sourcing is the hardest thing you can do as a beginner. You're trying to teach investors about the property, but you don't know nothing about property yourself. It makes no sense.
This is why I'm skeptical about everyone I see on Instagram.
I don't trust no deal sourcer, I'm sorry. Unless you've been in the game for a long time, fine. But even then, why are you selling deals? Why are you not raising the funds to do it yourself? I don't know, it makes me think, I don't know. Anyway, thought I'd be a sourcer. My mum, obviously, my parents saw me have a passion for property. I'm on my laptop on a Saturday and Sunday. Like a 20-year-old, they're in bed, hungover from the night before. Then my parents saw me go to networking events. They called growth, invested in me. I asked my mom, I need some money. I need to do anti-money laundering checks. There's a few regulations that you have to do for sourcing. Yep. Got my certificate. I don't want to do anything wrong. I want to make sure I start off on the right foot. So I got myself all sorted. So no one could come at me and say anything. My back is covered. I was sourcing buy-to-let deals in Leicester. because I know Leicester's very good for capital growth.
Probably told from the accent.
It's good for capital growth, and a lot of London investors, you guys, come here to invest because you can't afford London, right? It's cheap for you guys. For you lot,
What do
Leicester's
you mean,
like
bro?
peanuts.
What
You know what I mean? You lot smash the cash in.
I can't afford
Cheers
London.
to that.
No.
Right. Anyway, started off with buy-to-lets. Then this new craze came round, which was rent to rent. Then I started sourcing that. I thought I'd give the people what they need. That was a trend at the time.
And just on rent to rent, right? Because as a landlord, if someone, and I've had guaranteed rent properties, and the reason why that's comfortable is, although you take below market rent, you have that security at a time where being a landlord is a shit life, right?
Yes, it is.
You've got so many stresses to deal with that sometimes you question that, is it worth
100%.
£300-400 that you might make or whatever it could be?
100%.
And therefore, sometimes it's better to have a lower profit, have that hands-on.
But you're coming in though.
But that means the responsibility is on you to make sure that you're getting paid. So you said you did that Airbnb.
Even if I was to, obviously I guarantee the rent to the landlord, but to him, he needs that rent, no matter if I fill the house or not.
Absolutely.
So I had £800 on my head as a 21-year-old.
100%.
I need to pay £800 a month now. That's a lot of money, man. Like,
so on Airbnb, what was your what's the word? Utilization capacity? What's the bookings? What's that percentage thing?
Occupancy rate.
What's the occupancy that you had to aim for in a month to make sure that you can pay the landlord and make a good amount back?
So generally with Airbnb, they say 40% occupancy to break even. To just cover the bills.
Cool.
La-di-da.
Cool.
50%. Some people aim for. For me, it needs to be 40%. I need to break even at 40. So then at 50% or 60%, we're good. Mine, I would aim for 70, 80, and I was always on the 80, 90 anyway. And I got rewards and stuff. I got LiveStar, Home.
Airbnb. So was that process hard to manage and list and all that shit on?
With rent to rent, it's when you essentially wanted to get into property. I could sit on the beach and chill and have money coming in.
No, but that's a myth.
No, it is a myth. But rent to rent is a job. You trade in a job for a job.
Correct.
I was the cleaner. I'd be running up. My phone would go cha-ching. All right, I'd get a booking in. Happy days. But then 3 days later, I'd have to go run there. And
I want to dive into a bit of detail on that, right? Because everyone says, I want to get into property so I can be hands off and live out my day job.
Never hands off.
Why people think they can get one property or two properties, because even on average buy-to-let, you make £400 a month. Let's say make that £400 a month. So the average income in the UK is about 35,000. Why am I talking so fast? I always do this. It's so dark. Average income is about... do this, man.
Okay.
But look, average income is about 35,000. Let's say an above average salary in the UK is 50 grand. For you to make that, you need 12 buy-to-let
I know,
properties.
and you need a lot of deposits.
Exactly. So, and buy-to-let deposit, you need 25%. So, where this myth has come from that you can become totally hands-off, and this is why it pisses me off when I see people, listen, this
selling the dream. Because it's easier to sell the dream than it is to sell the fucking the work.
Stop swearing.
Sorry, people.
Calm down.
I get angry because
there's
all these people out there selling things. So sell the real.
People are selling financial freedom with courses for £500, £2,000. Bruv, if you got financial freedom, why are you selling courses? Go help the world out, bruv.
Or go on your jet ski and chill. Enjoy your life.
Right, let's go back to you.
Rant over.
Yeah, cool. So what was your spending? How much did you have to spend to get the property up to scratch? Okay. And if you're comfortable, share a few numbers from Airbnb, then we'll move on to
it's been a hot minute. So £800 a month, I had to guarantee the rent. Council tax is like, I don't know, 120, let's just say. Got your electricity bills, gas bills, water bill, Wi-Fi. Let's say water's 50 quid, electric and gas.
Summary.
All right, that's that. Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi, did all of that. So let's say all in all, I had about 1,200. That was my expenses.
Cool.
I have to pay every month. I need that money coming in, right? So, long story short, I made 1,200 a month profit. Sometimes 800 quid, sometimes. So I'd have 3 grand coming in.
Respect.
Come on. Take away the 1,200 or whatever. I ain't good at maths here. I need my calculator. I'm not good at this stuff. But around 3,000 to 8 coming in. Let's say £100 a night. You blew my mind with rent to rent. The landlord's rent was £800. If I rent that house out for £100 a day in a week, I made the landlord's rent in a week.
So where was this property?
Just here, near Leicester train station.
Oh wow, £100
next to the train station, so it was next to.
Fine, that's pretty good. So tell me about a really good month. What would be a really good month, and did you have a bad month?
Good months, anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 profit.
Come on, G.
I would take all that. I'm silly. Again, naive. Young and naive. You don't know what you don't know.
No, but listen, so hold on, sorry. Let's just emphasize the point that you were 21. That's sick.
It was. I was going to say, everyone teaches you to get into property to replace your income. So I was like, all right then. And all that money that I made, I just transferred it to myself. But then at the end of the year, I had to pay an accountant. But I used all that money for my income and my life. And I have no money to pay an accountant at the end of the year. You know?
That's a great point, right? Because I've gone through certain messed up situations. I'm on a guarantee rent contract, which I'll come on to shortly. But those tough mistakes, you learn so much from. So as bad as it is at the time,
Yeah.
looking back,
Yeah.
now I know how to deal with someone who's trying to like for a mug
100%,
or whatever it could be.
100%.
So despite that situation, like
Yeah.
now you're never going to make that mistake again, and you've probably taken away more from that financial grind or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's going to come back. Whereas that impact of that lesson won't
Yeah.
come back.
Word.
So
100%. Hindsight is a good thing as well. But I always say fail faster. That's why do anything and start now, because you learn. You fail, don't do that again next time.
so you did Airbnb, and then you decided to move to buy-to-lets.
I realised slowly from doing that, okay, this is cool, this is great. And I even got a second Airbnb. I was going to grow. I was going to be the go-to girl in Leicester for Airbnbs. I made
She
posters.
said Leicester guys. Like,
Anyway, I was going to be the go-to. COVID started. Life was world was ending. Lockdown. I could see things. I don't know. I can see through things. And I realised I was going to book an Airbnb. The world is ending. No one cares about Airbnbs. Health and life is
and at this point, you still had your obligations to pay the landlord.
Still have my first one. Just took on a second one in January. March was when the COVID is happening. But I was quick on my feet and I sold the second one. Made money from it, but I sold the deal to someone to source that on. The first one, I never continued. I didn't like the landlord. He was rude. I don't care how much money you have. If you're rude and you're disrespectful, I don't want to work with you. I do not want to put money in your pocket.
How long did you have that property for? And would you say as a good financial investment, let alone the land, because the learning?
Yeah, 100%. Because I made money. I made money from it. And you know when you
at that age as well.
And even the age, but because of the age, it gave me confidence. What I'm learning online, and my parents don't think what she do. It gives you that you become more investable. You learn something online, you did it, it worked. You get credible. What's the word? You get
credibility, and plus that gives you confidence to speak to other investors or whoever it could be.
And it's experience.
Yeah, 100%. Like you got something under your belt, then you decided to get into buy-to-lets. Because that was 2021. Cool. So
low interest rates.
Low interest rates, but you can't. Changes have already happened where you can't deduct your mortgage payment. So how did you navigate that? And did you think twice about getting into buy-to-lets? Because now it's a fucking shit game.
It's a shit game, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't care about the rules and look, let's simplify it. The richest people in the world own property. I don't care what rule, what tax, what that legislation changes. They're not selling, so why does that make any sense? Let's forget
it doesn't make sense. Again. No,
it does make sense. Some landlords from back in the olden days are like, forget this, I'm out. I'm not doing this. I can't offset my mortgage against. But bro, is that the reason you were doing it? Or is it for the long term?
100%.
There's many reasons. But people do it for many reasons. Some do it for cash flow now. Some do it for the long term. It's my pension. And some do it for a mix of both, if that makes sense. A good life now and a good life later.
So, that's okay, fine. So you go into buy-to-let.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that, because you obviously need 25% to put something down.
You do.
By the way, I really hope this is recording.
Me too.
You did hit record, yeah?
Should I give it a check?
Go for it.
It's worth checking.
I'm not editing this.
14 minutes strong. Come on. All right, let me not lose my flow.
Back to buy-to-lets.
Back to buy-to-lets. So,
singing like a king.
So it's the year of 2021, guys. The world is nearly ending, but it's not at the same time. If that makes sense. That's a good time. Right? It was
and that's when COVID is like coming to an end.
Kind of. World was crashing, property prices were crashing. No, was this the era that house prices were selling?
This is when there was a stamp duty holiday. That's when everyone was like, oh, I want to get into property. That's when I started Property Talks.
Right.
Because so many people were like, shit, I want to learn about property, etc. Or calling me, and I'm like, and at this point, it was only close friends who knew that I was into property. But then I thought, actually, fuck it, if you're going to try and... I'm not selling courses. I'm not here to make money from my people. Let me just try and help and educate people on on the mistakes that I made and the lessons that I learned.
And don't do that.
Because if you Google something, when you Googled it, you're overwhelmed with information. If you can talk to someone, back to you, buy-to-lets.
People learn differently as well, right? So some people learn through... I learn through people. That's why I went networking. Tell me what to do and I'll run off and do it. Whereas the internet, like you said, has a lot of
you don't know information. What's relevant to you. How do you apply that?
No idea.
There's not enough guidance. There's just an overload of information.
And I like to ask questions too. But you've got to make do with what you've got. We're youngsters. We've got the internet at our hands. We can access anything. So you can either excuse it. There's a lot of information out there. Break it down then. Find a way to break it down, right? Or go on TikTok. There's a guy breaking it down for you. Done. Anyway.
TikTok sounds the new Google.
It actually is.
My niece was like, I'm going to TikTok. What? Sorry.
I loved it.
Hit me.
How
did you jump in?
So you realised through doing the Airbnb, I want to be the guy at the top who owns houses. Cool. How am I going to do that? I was a support worker at this point. I've never worked a full-time job.
Wait, you're a teacher?
No, I studied to be a teacher, but I never actually went and got a full-time job after uni. My degree was on my bedroom floor. Never needed it. I just got it for a backup in an Indian family, made them proud of it. So I always had like part-time jobs, worked in a pub, worked in a bar, worked as a support worker, the other. Refused to work full-time because I'm not selling my soul to the devil. I don't like it, I can't do it. I don't know if it's my ADHD, but I am not doing it. It's not even a 9 to 5, is it? It's 8 till 6.
What are you talking about? No, it's not.
It's worse than that.
No,
it's probably
not.
5 till 9. Hey, back to the question. I started researching what area would work for me. People say go an hour away from where you live. I'd love to invest in Leicester, but can't afford the 180, 200 grand houses around here. 25% of that is what, 50 grand? Plus the stamp duty, forget it. Forget it.
30% of whatever the property price is,
Forget
roughly
about
that should put down cost.
So then I just went on Instagram, look at what my friends are doing. My friends are buying in Wales because it's like 30, 40 grand properties. I had a friend who bought in Glasgow, and I went with, he actually said you can come with me to view the property.
Cool. That's a great learning experience.
I love that. He was like, you can have my saucer, you can have the, he was leverage. It was just like, here you go, you can have it. I thought,
reliable contacts too.
Yes. Good people in your network, because there's some snakes that I've come across in this industry. So you've got to find your people, if that makes sense. Find your tribe. Anyway, researched online, and I just ended up finding Stoke-on-Trent as my investment area, if that makes sense.
And you built that up now to have a couple of properties
in Stoke.
And how are you finding being a landlord? Because that's such a shitty topic of conversation right now. Although there was a renters reform about the leasehold, like now you can send leases on flats, so there's some positive. So 900 years or whatever that could be.
Whatever, fine.
But it's a tough time to be a landlord.
To get into it now, I think is tough. That's why start now. Even if you're watching this now, just start. I know we're saying it's tough now, but just start. If that makes sense. Right? There's never a right time to propose or
you'll always find a reason not to do it. Now. Whereas so when I bought my first property, it was when I was 22, 23. This is like 2014. Fuck, I'm old.
Crazy.
But it's a moisturizer. So at that time, I thought, after I got that property, right, I was thinking, shit, did I get mugged or... No, I wasn't happy about the deal.
What's the deal? If you want to go through numbers.
You
go through your first property deal, I'll go through my first deal. Mine was banging. My first deal was amazing.
Do you know what? I'll give you another one that I got in COVID, which was a better deal.
Fine.
Because the first one, No, but looking back, it was a brilliant... It got me to where I am, because that was a door opener.
Yes,
Look at me opening a door.
No, it's true.
It was a door opener.
And I put an emoji there.
I can't do the edit. Allow it. It's too much of it.
Anyway.
But it was a great door opener, and I learned a lot. And because of said earlier, right, when things go wrong, you learn a lot. And
you do. It makes you or breaks you.
Now, if I was in the situation, I would never buy a property like that, because it's my most stressful property. I'd rather buy that then as my first one, as opposed to my 10th one, because that means I've not learned my lesson, right? 100%. So it made me realise what to look out for, what not to look out for. But here, I'll give you some numbers, right? So in COVID, I bought a 2-bed, 2-bath flat in London.
Nice.
And that was 240. 240. You know what? I actually negotiated it down.
From what? 450?
Okay. Right? Here's a quick tip. You agree the price, you put an offer down. Also, whenever you're putting an offer down, fucking make sure you called out all the other stuff so you can undermine the price that's been listed. So if it's been listed for 240, you're going to go there and be like, look, I know properties, give factual information, don't come up with emotion. Obviously, I'm just going to knock off 10% because that's what fucking Asians do.
No.
Speak with facts of, look, I need to do ABC to this property. That property nearby is listed for 10 grand less, and it's closer to the station or whatever it is. So I gave factual information to the point where the agent agreed with me about...
How can they say no?
Because it's not me making up, it's factual information.
Seriously, the roof needs replacing, that's going to cost 5.
And if there's other properties that are sold nearby, etc., or that are listed nearby, which have a better USP, closer to the station or closer to ABC, or has an extra bathroom, or the square footage is 50 square feet more, whatever it could be, that is reasons why I can undermine your price. And then here's a quick win that I had.
Always tell them you're going to sell it through them as well.
True, 100%.
Even if you're not.
Sell it. Just say
I'm going to list it through you.
So get them incentivized, right? So then I had to get the EICR done, so there's a quick win. Yeah, only a couple of grand saving, but if failed the EICR, I'll go, wait a second, hold on. I either get the work done, or go halves, or something like that. And they said no, it failed. You pay for it. Listen, I'm out. Fuck it.
I don't want it.
And then we just went halves, and then I found, and their quote to get the work done was fucking extortionate. Obviously. So I got my own guy and I got it done for like quarter of the price.
Love that.
So that was a good saving. But anyways, that was 240, less than that.
Yes.
Plus stamp duty and all that stuff. But then at that point I rented it for 1250. So the yield on that, bearing in mind, it's worked hard to get the tenants that I did.
Good.
They've still been in the property since.
Love that.
They're now paying. That was what, 2020. We're 4 years later.
Crazy.
Is it 4 years later?
Crazy.
I'm now getting about 1550 on that. No, 1450. And the tenants are like, listen. Every fucking touchwood.
Is that even one?
Fuck
knows. I don't know.
Touchwood.
Hopefully.
First of the month, the tenant used to message me every month saying, at 10:12, Amish, I've transferred the rent.
Love that.
Now I'm like, listen, don't worry, it's cool. You don't need to keep messaging me, but that was that was a brilliant scenario, and that was a time. Do you know why I think I got that deal?
Why?
Because everyone was scared to buy it during COVID. And this was before stamp duty holiday came. Everyone's a bit shook of shit. Do I buy? Do I not? Whereas I don't know. I was looking at that.
Yeah, quote. When everyone's I ain't good at this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
When everyone's scared, do the opposite of what everyone's doing. If everyone's scared, jump. If they're jumping, I'm not jumping. I don't want to do what the
Facts.
rest of the Joes
Facts.
do. No, no.
But like that worked out.
Good.
And I manage that myself now.
Because of the numbers, right? Again, it don't matter what market we're in, what's going on.
True,
If the numbers stack.
Do you know what?
You know what you're doing.
Put it this way: I can't compare your deal to my deal, or you can't compare my deal to your deal, because no deal is going to be the same. However, if I look back, that deal, touch wood, again,
Yes.
it's worked out. And there was 2 properties I was thinking about at that point in time, or getting a residential for myself, and I
Yes.
decided to do the investment.
Yeah,
But
I had that thought as well. I was even going to buy in my own name and rent it out. That's what Indians do. But
no.
and you didn't have a salary though. Don't do that. That's very bad. Mortgage.
Very
fraud.
bad.
No.
No, yeah, legit, don't do that. Also,
Yeah.
the fact that I was thinking of 2 properties, I was unsure which one, and the other one was a bit nicer, whatever. Looking back, this one is doing what it's doing. Touch wood,
Yeah.
it's doing brilliant. So I'm not regretting that decision.
Yeah.
At that point, I wanted another property. There was another one I was looking at, but even the first one that I said that I had a few issues with,
Yeah.
I'm not regretting that now because it's still serving me well. So the point that I'm trying to make is that you said jump into property, or either learn a lot, and there might be another deal that might be a bit sweeter, etc.
100%.
But you can sit there and wait for that extra deal for another 5 years, but you lost out in 5 years of
Opportunity
income.
cost.
Facts. Well done.
Opportunity cost is
Love
a
that.
big
Well
thing,
done.
Rob. You
Well
know
done.
what
I
you
like
lose in the timeline of
Well done.
waiting. Does that make sense? Even with relationships, let's say you fancy someone, you want to ask her to be your girlfriend, but you ain't got the guts to do that. Too late. Somebody else has come in, swooped her, and they're married now. Opportunity cost. They took your missus.
Listen to the property podcast.
Okay, back to my first deal, which was amazing. I'm never going to get these numbers again in my life, but it's okay.
I'm not happy.
I'm never going to get the interest rate that I got. My first property, 1.64%.
I hear that.
Are you mad?
Yeah.
Anyway, so
What year was that? 2020?
2021. So I got my first property in July
Right.
21. 70 grand purchase price in Stoke.
Mhm.
Mid-terrace, standard terrace house. Ugly inside. It looks old.
Fine. No, they're
Grandma.
the prizes, bro. It's like that one person in a group of fit people that no one gives attention to, but they could be the prime candidate.
Get them a PT.
Respect
They
to Tommy
can
Sandu because he gave me that line. Sorry.
plug in it. 70 grand. 40 for 70. Try to do the BRR model, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, so the BRR model is when you buy a property, you refurb it, and then you refinance it. Pull your original money back out, or
Wait, hold on. In non-jargon terms that people might, because some people might not follow that. So you bought it for
Yes.
70 grand.
Yes.
You did a bit of work to it. Then gets revalued
at a
of what's
higher price.
correct. So let's say if it then gets revalued at 100 grand,
Mhm.
then you take the 75% of that as a mortgage, and therefore you've got very little cash left in. So the reason why people do that is because it means you've added value to the property and you've capitalized on the equity that you built.
100%. So let me go through some numbers. This was my first house, and for some reason the mortgage lenders thought I was going to live there. It's in Stoke. It's an hour and 15 from my house.
What did you put it as a residential?
No,
Cool.
buy to let. Ruby wanted
What?
to buy this as a buy to let. The mortgage works. I don't know. Anyway, I had to get my dad and leverage him. Again, leverage everything you can. I leverage my parents. Obviously, they're the ones who helped me and gave me the deposit to buy in the first place.
100%.
I would not be where I am without my parents or without the people that helped me along my journey. Parents, I leveraged, or they helped me, invested in me. Again, they've got excess funds sitting in the bank, getting 0% return, so you might as well give them to me.
Especially at that
Somebody, right? You
Yeah,
might as well.
facts.
Indians like to save money. Look at it in the bank account. For what?
I hear you. I hear
Right?
you.
Money makes money. Anyway, they saw me, they invested in me, they knows what she's doing, they think, gave me the money, bought it for 70. Because they thought I was going to live in it, instead of putting a 25% deposit down, even with my dad's name on it, I had to pay 40%.
What?
Peas, isn't it? But check this.
Cool.
For 70 grand, that's not much, but
No, still. Were you, sorry, when emphasize again, you were 23, 24?
no, 23, sorry, 23
Cool.
for my first house, sorry, 23.
Fine. So at 23, it's a big chunk.
It is.
You put 40% down, so that's about
That's
30
what?
grand.
28,000. I'll never
Because-
forget.
Cool.
28,000 down.
Plus stamp duty, all that stuff. Oh, no stamp duty.
Stamp duty is extra.
No, but it's under.
No, but for you, when you buy investment
Yeah,
properties,
fine.
you still pay
3%
If it's
surcharge.
0 to 125,000, you
Yeah,
pay
yeah.
3%.
Yeah.
Above that is 5%. La la la.
So let's say you had to put down 33, 4 grand.
Something like that, if that makes
Cool.
sense. Down. Refurbed it for 7 grand.
You did that work yourself.
Myself with my mum and my uncle. Shout out to family because they're amazing. Again, wouldn't be who I am without them. They're very handy in my family. So
Respect.
my uncle will change the electrics or change the light bulb. He'll do stuff, and my mum will do the same. My mum is a boss. Women with feminine.
Make sure you tag her in.
I'll send her this and she'll love it. We're feminine, but she's a boss bitch. I won't lie. Like I love Indian women. They're so strong.
Mama, what's the- that's
Oh,
enough.
okay, she's a boss.
She's a boss.
We'll edit that. All right.
You're editing, I'm not.
All right. Someone's gonna edit it. She's a boss. Anyway, she tiled my bathroom. Got the grout out. She put her hair,
Listen,
tied her hair off.
does she do jobs in London?
We can talk about that. We'll quote you. Anyway, so I was a support worker at this time, part time, because I'm not working for someone full time. I used to work 2-3 days a week. I'd have to sleep over in a house. I got paid 54 quid to sleep in a house. Come on, making money while I'm sleeping. You get paid a night rate in case anything happens at night time. I'm there to help the residents. Yeah. I just needed to figure out how to make money and not be there now. Cool. Anyway, on my days off, I'd run off to Stoke with my mum and refurb it. Cost us 7 grand, new bathroom, new kitchen, new everything, painted it, carpets, boom, beautiful. It was a beautiful, I must say. Anyway, got it after for... It was valued at 90 or 95. Cool. Again, I'm talking a couple of years now, so it's not fresh in my head. But yeah, 1995, I was able to pull out 25 grand.
Cool.
I was like, what?
So that means she's got a mortgage on the value of 95,000 as opposed to 70,000. So by spending 7-8 grand to do it up, she's increased the value of the property to 95 or whatever it was.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
And then you mortgage it based on 95.
Yes. So I pulled some money out and I used that money to buy another house. That was my plan. That's the whole reason that I did that. You just have to do the process to see if it works.
You bought the second house 2 years later.
So I was 23 for the first one. The second one...
And that's another hook.
The first one, you have to wait. I don't know what it is. I had to wait 6 months for something to come in. I don't know if it's a refinance or... No, I had to be a landlord for 6 months or something. Did that. I had to wait. I said to myself at the start of 2022... Maybe I'm buying another house.
Respect.
I aggressively, as a support worker, was looking at houses, ringing agents.
So how did you find a property in Stoke? Was it
estate agent? Online research, just using my comparables, looking at the street, how much do things rent for, just using my knowledge that I've built up over the years of networking and talking to people. Then you got the second one.
Cool.
But the second one, I chose to do Airbnb with it. I was looking for an Airbnb.
Let's touch on that. Yeah. How does that compare to the buy-to-let? Like, which one are you enjoying? Ooh. Which one's making more profit?
Obviously, the Airbnb might make more profit, a tiny bit more because of summer months and stuff, right?
Sure. Is that net?
Yeah.
After your agent?
I have somebody managing it, and they take all their fees and the cleaning and linen.
What's the fee for Airbnb in the UK?
I don't know. Everyone's different. Some people charge 10%. Some. Oh, you mean Airbnb on the portal?
No. As in someone to manage it.
Anywhere from 10 to 20%. I don't even know what I pay. I forgot. I think it's 20%.
That's poor.
What do you mean? It worked at the time, and I can pull it out for you now. But anyway, it works. They manage it. They take a percentage. They give me a payout. From that payout, take away my mortgage. And I got a holiday let mortgage, especially for this house. Cool. Because I'm not trying to get a buy-to-let mortgage and then do Airbnb. I don't know if you can do that or there's people doing it. I'm that person who wants to sleep at night. So I got a holiday let mortgage. Cool. Tell the world what I'm doing properly, right? So no one's going to come knocking on my door. Which one you said is better? I like them both. So the first one, you asked me a question earlier, what's it like being a landlord? If you'd asked me this question when I first got my first house, 6 months later, I'd be like, fuck's sake, stressful. Facts. I rented it to a couple. I just thought, young, because
So you found them?
No, I've got an agent involved. I'm young, and I'm a woman, and I'm young. I don't want no one knowing I own a house, because I'm sorry, in this world...
Yeah, don't put it on Instagram. Don't change your Instagram handle to Ruby Cam Property. No. Don't do that, because the world's going to know.
No. Okay, my bad.
I don't want anyone to know that I'm in property.
Fine, so that. I do want people to know. I want who I want to know.
Cool.
Innit?
You got a public Instagram.
My tenants don't know my public Instagram. Do you get it, right?
I get it.
Anyway, I didn't want the headache of dealing with tenants, the rent's not coming, do my head in. I don't want to deal with that. I want to, like I said, sip pina coladas. I don't even like pina colada. Cool. I want to sip a nice drink on the beach, right? Not have tenants hassle me. That's what I thought at the time. Anyway, they were nice. They were great. Then I heard some things like they got a dog, even though I said no pets at this point.
Was it in the contract?
I think so. They started smoking. I was really pally with my neighbour. He was an elderly guy, and I made friends with the neighbours because you have to. I don't live in Stoke. I'm an hour away, so I need to know what's going on. I need eyes and ears on the ground. And then the rent kept coming in a week late, 2 weeks late. I know that's nothing, but why should I have to wait for my rent?
No, but listen, I'll be honest with you. I think that's down to the agent.
It is, and I got rid of them.
Because the agent, they only care about ticking a box and they don't care about screening the tenant. That's why now I manage my own properties, because I don't trust an agent to do that job. Also, they just want someone to get in so you get paid, so they get paid. But when rent doesn't get paid, they're not screening them. Like, are they reliable? Are they going to mess up the property? Are they trustworthy, etc.? They don't do none of that stuff.
100%. Agents, I'm sure they're good. They're not all bad, but I've realised in the world, I'm a control freak. I want to take control back. I did it. I even said to myself though, for a year, I'm going to rent it to a letting agent. Try that experience. I don't know. I've done this before.
But one thing I would say is that when you give it to a letting agent, unless you know how to self-manage,
Yes.
you can't judge how good they're doing, if they're doing it responsibly, until you've done it yourself. Because now,
there you go.
if I use a letting agent,
There we go.
I'll know if they're trying to have me on or
There
they're
we
trying
go.
to put a quick one, because
That's
I've done
it.
it myself.
That's like me with refurbs. No one can tell me, oh, Ruby's going to cost £7,000 to plaster a wall. Shut up. No, it ain't.
Why are you swearing, man?
Shut up.
But why are you getting angry?
Because I don't want people thinking women don't know shit.
I respect that, but
That's
there's
why.
only- No, but
Yeah.
listen.
Anyway.
On a serious note, the fact that you're doing all this, and you're one of the few female property investors at your age, I think is sick. What's next? What are you thinking? Why don't you come invest in Dubai?
Like
Listen, they're
bringing out tax soon. Everyone's had it.
Listen, they're bringing out tax if you make like 300, 400 grand profit in a company. Like personal tax, there's nothing there. We'll talk about
There's
that
ways,
another time.
the loopholes in it.
No, that's not a loophole.
Fine.
Oh, but hold on. If you own it on your personal name,
Because I got my property
you,
in my personal name, not limited company.
you still got to pay tax in the UK.
Unless you register your company in Dubai, baby. Come
Well,
on.
So what's
What's next on the horizon? Obviously, so property's done well. It was a good stepping stone. I did it, and I'm just more proud of myself. Cool, I did it. I'm proud of myself. Wow. I'm scared of myself because now if I say I'm going to do something and I hone in on it, it come into fruition, right? So the next thing, I'm looking at buying businesses. I do sales at the moment, so I don't know if I'm going to hone in more on.
You do sales?
I do remote
You don't
sales.
come across like a salesperson, to be honest.
That's sarcasm. All right. So I don't know if I'm going to hone in on sales and 10x on that, if that makes sense, because I'm really good at what I do. So I don't know if I should just put my potential out.
Are you even considering giving your day job up to get into something else? Like, would you do that?
But I'd be to buy a business. So I need cash flow and income from day one. And I've learned that property's great. It's a slow game. Maybe interview me in 5 years and ask me where my 2 properties are. If I sold them, where are they? What's happened? It was a good stepping stone. It's made me the girl that I am now. I love who I am. I just need to. It's now on to the next.
And confidence or the financial mindset it's probably given you from all the learnings and all the journey that you've been on is like you can't compare that to something
No one
else.
can take that away from me as well, right? It's experience.
And that's going to help you in your next venture or whatever it could be.
In the next 5 years. So 20 to 25, you smash property. Come on. Now, what am I doing from 26 to 30? I would like to buy a business, but I need the same. I won't lie. When I first started, I don't know if it was my ADHD, but I had a lot of drive and I'm doing this. And you have that hunger, don't you? So hungry, like I'm starving. Now you get a bit comfortable, don't you? Pardon?
That's the food.
No, we'll get to eat after. We have a mixed grill. I was going to say, you kind of lose a bit of that hunger. You get comfortable in life, don't you? I need the mojo back again. So I just need to hone in on the mojo and or discipline, as they say, and buy business. That would be what I'm trying to do. You're
going to keep the property on the side?
Just in the background doing their thing.
Cool. And you're pretty hands off now. You've reached the stage of being hands off. Brilliant. Good stuff. Because time is money. Time is money.
Money you can get back, time you can't.
Facts.
That's why I started young. Do you understand?
100%.
I the Ruby at 26, what does she want to do? Where does she want to be? And again, I'm at that stage now where the Ruby at 30, where does she want to be? So now Ruby right now needs to get working.
Do you know what, before we do, what would you say to other young females, actually young males and females, who are in their early 20s or whatever and wanting to get into property? Current climate, give 3 points or key
points.
What's the word? There's a word I'm looking
I know what you're saying, golden nuggets.
That's
or
the one,
advice or golden nuggets. Number 1, research. Study. Just like you would with anything. Study what you want to do. Ask yourself, ask yourself why you want to get into property. What's the reason why? Because the reason why we do anything is a big thing, right? I wanted more money for myself, my family. I want to give back. Love my family. I just want to give back and help the world. And I just want wealth. So ask yourself, why do you want to do property? Create a bit of a brainstorm. Ask yourself, what do you have? Do you have access to cash? Do you have an uncle or an auntie, mum and dad with money, brother, sister, anyone who's a builder? Just ask yourself, what do you have around you that you can leverage? 2, I'd say study and code into that. Network, talk to people. If you're not good at networking, then DM people. There's ways. You know what I mean? You don't have to be the most confident in the room.
Listen, don't be afraid. What's the worst that can happen? Someone doesn't respond.
I used to be all scared, but I still walked into the room anyway because my goals were bigger than my fears.
Respect.
I'm sorry, but
and hold on, how important is that? Yeah, because the fact that you messaged X amount of people, a number of them responded, and that's helped you in your journey to get to where you are, as opposed to you being like, shit, I'm scared if they're not going to respond or how.
So what if they don't respond?
Like facts.
And have number 1, I'd say,
I'm
passionate. Have self-belief. I had that.
Right here.
No one believed in me. I believed in myself.
Respect.
I had people in my uncle's pub telling me, why are you getting into property? You're a girl. Marry somebody rich. You don't need to worry about money. Oh, all those comments just riled me even more. So just self-belief.
Do they know what you're doing now?
Yeah, of course I do.
And what's their response?
They just look at you and smile and give you the respect.
No, but that's it. They give
you house property. They give you advice.
Yeah, exactly. Now they're talking to you about it, which they thought, oh shit, we're not going to talk to you.
Self-belief. This is all muddled up, but self-belief, study, network, then take action. Just go out there and view properties. Do something. Sitting at home, you're not going to get anywhere. So a little tip. I was quite shy when I first started, and I practiced in another area. So I went with some property friends to Birmingham, and I walked into a estate agent there, and I practiced my pitch. Hello, I'm looking to do rental.
We spoke about that at the start.
Go to another area.
How important is that pitch? Whatever the pitch is, your introduction, your first conversation with, as a salesperson, your first conversation with a client, with a estate agent, whatever it could be, rehearse that pitch 10 times 100%. Because then it'll come out like bread and butter. And
you never get a second chance at first impression.
No.
You get it? Be memorable, be different. But you just figure out what you want to do, hone in on it, talk to people who are doing things in that network. Because there's a Facebook group for everything.
Listen, the cameras are moving.
There's a Facebook group for everything. Property, horses, drinking Carling, iPhones. There are like-minded people wherever you go. So just find them. Find your tribe, as people say. Find your people.
And be surrounded by people who are happy to help without expecting something in return.
I had to do that because none of my friends were talking property. No one to talk to about this industry, but people like me on Instagram or networking events, and I get the buzz. I'm like, yeah.
Do you know what? That's a really good point, right? Because no one else, apart from one of my boys in uni, Valid, shout out, no one else was into property at my age, and therefore, but it was so comfortable to have that person who we can share a few thoughts with, or
ring them off and be
like. Even now, it's funny because we've both been in property for about 10, 12 years. And every time we get a call from our tenant, we still shit ourselves. But it's still been 10, 12 years, but we still reach that stage and we'll still have the same conversations. But it was so helpful having someone there to bounce ideas with and share that journey with you to an extent.
Yes. It's a lonely road. It's very lonely. That's why I went networking and I had to talk to people like
hindsight's a beautiful thing, right? Because now people would say, shit, I wish I got into property earlier. And me, I'm now 32, although I look about 25. I'm thinking I wish I was a few years older because of the generation we're in or the time we're in. I would have been more comfortable to buy properties when the interest rates were lower, prices were lower, and capitalize on the equity gain. Which now, unfortunately, it's not looking likely the economy we're in. Hence why, thank you so much for the time and a special spontaneous podcast that we've done.
It's so random, wasn't it? It's good.
Hopefully, in 5 years' time, we'll catch up again and you come on.
One thing, if Ruby can get into property with no money, nobody around me, I guess, that people have more than what I have, if that makes sense. Everyone has different, we're all given different cards, right? You may have more than what I have, leverage wise, time wise, money wise, use it. So if Ruby can, with limited resources, you defo can. And I'm gonna leave it there.
Why does she think this is an advert? I don't understand.
I don't know, it's a sales in you coming out, right?
Anyway, it's cool. Peace. Well done.
That was cool.
Well done, G.
That was scary.